What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Been another week off, and not on our usual Sunday night tonight. Rather, we're here on a Monday night. Patriots were playing last night. A lot going on. Figured we'd push it to Monday, but obviously, me and Matt both being Patriots fans, we got big wins last night to celebrate. So, yeah, we had that NFL playoffs going on. I know everybody's been tuned into, but we're here tonight to talk some hoops. So, Matt will be, like I said, Matt will be with us in a second. Um, Jacob, Braden Smith has been absolutely killing it. like,
Insane
um,
performance on Saturday. Usually he's just trying to find the best play, like dishing out assists, but he was like on another level scoring on Saturday as well.
um, yeah, was it 26-14 on the road at Penn State Saturday?
Yeah, it was. Let me find the stat line.
I believe I
It was
saw.
it was at
As
home. It was 20. Yeah, it's 26-14, and throwing two steals as well,
I
and
believe
only
I
one.
saw earlier. As of now, he's on pace to break Bobby Hurley's assist record in the Big Ten tournament
Yeah,
at
like
this
it would be
point.
like one game with the pace he's on. It would be like one or two games.
Um, yeah, what a run he's been on.
Mhm.
So, shout out to Braden Smith. Like getting ready to break a record that some thought might never be broken, and seems well on his way to breaking it at this point. But yeah, we got plenty to talk about. Like I said, we'll jump back into some of the games from last week too, but we'll mainly focus on Saturday and some of the big results there. But obviously, I think it's a no-brainer that we start with Wisconsin going into Ann Arbor and taking down Michigan, the national title favorites, the number one team in Ken Palm. Um, most people like who thought going in that was like best team in the country, and they were kind of pulling away from the field. Most people were evaluating them, and Wisconsin goes in and gets an absolutely shocking win. Wisconsin's been pretty awful this year. I don't think anybody saw them being competitive here. Michigan goes into this thing an 18.5 point favorite, and um, Wisconsin really just takes it to them in the second half, 91-88, the final there. Um, that's the kind of win for Wisconsin. Like, they don't have a lot of big wins on the resume, and they were not trending towards being a tournament team. And that's the kind of win that's getting one like that. That's the difference between being a tournament team and not a win like that. That's a completely season changing win for Greg Gard and Bucky and the Badgers. Like Wisconsin's backcourt was just like we knew like Blackwell and Boyd, like they had talent, and like they're guys who really hadn't lived up to it, but um you know they're guys that had a lot of potential and a lot of expectations, and like we seen them show it before. Obviously, like they were a tournament team last year, and they really just hadn't put it together up to this point this year. But John Blackwell was just unbelievable in this game. He was 26 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, um, shot at 50% from three. And then Boyd was 22, 3 and 6. They were both 50% or better from the field. Um, yeah, what a performance uh, by the Badgers in this one. And yeah, to go that's definitely the best win any team has gotten so far this season. I mean, that was the runaway consensus number one team at Ken Palm, and by every computer metric, and the national title favorite. And yeah, for them to go into Ann Arbor and get that win, that was huge. And the like I said, a season changing win for Wisconsin, a result none of us really saw coming. It's kind of one of those games like you put it on and watched it, and you were like, okay, like you were expecting uh, Michigan to pull away and take that game over at some point, and uh, kind of play with their food a little bit with Wisconsin, but like, okay, like they're at home. Like, this is who many people think are the best team in the country. Like, they'll figure it out. But um, Wisconsin just kept the foot on the gas and got it done here. So, huge win for the Badgers. Really changes the whole complexion of how we view these top teams in the country too. Like, I believe stat I saw earlier of the top 9 teams in the AP poll that came out today. Um, Michigan is now the only one to suffer a quad 2 loss out of all those teams. So talk about a loss that really brought Michigan like back down into the pack, like from where people were viewing them. It's not a lot that you want to completely change your outlook of a team after one game, but with how far ahead Michigan was viewed of everybody else, like going into this game, and then what this result means, like it really has to change that outlook on Michigan. Like you really like I'm not saying they're still not a great team. They're still a favorite to win the national championship and they could still very easily do that, but like this is the first time like we've seen them bleed after they've been mowing down everybody. So it has to change your outlook on how you view Dusty May and the Wolverines now. Um but yeah, I'm rambling on here. You're a Big Ten guy, especially, so I'm sure you were happy to see Michigan take this loss. So I'll let you get into it a little bit and give your thoughts on it. But yeah, the Badgers take down the Wolverines.
Yeah, I mean Michigan, they've shown some. They've had these big blowouts, but they've also had some games where they've looked suspect. Just on with their shooting. I think their shooting caught up to them in this game. Wisconsin just was the typical Wisconsin team, where they just shoot lights out. Greg Gard's teams, usually they have that one guard that just lights it up out of nowhere. I mean, of course, with what's his Nick Boyd. Nick Boyd's been their consistent force all year, but he hasn't really gotten much help from other players. But today, this weekend, John Blackwell and Alexis Bilakowskis, I think that's how it's pronounced. The team Wisconsin as a team shot 15 from 33 from the 3-point range, and Michigan didn't really have that same type of shooting. And they got in foul trouble as well down the stretch. It seemed like towards the end of the game, both teams were just fouling. Typical Big Ten style of play there at the end of the game. Adey Amara, I really think Adey Amara is overrated as a center. Like, he's just kind of big, gets in there in the paint. Like, against more athletic bigs, he struggles, especially. Like, athletic guards like Nick Boyd that can just drive around, he doesn't really have an answer for that. And Wisconsin didn't really fall into the trap of driving at him like Wake Forest and TCU both did in the close games they play with him. It's funny to mention earlier in the week, Michigan also struggled with Penn State. Only snuck out of a road game against Penn State with only a 2-point victory. So I feel like Michigan's kind of, at this point in the season, they're just kind of going through the motions and kind of coasting on their own success. So like teams that are really hungry like Wisconsin are going to really press Michigan to be at the top of their game,
Yeah, and it's like Michigan, like just the wins they've gotten and the way in the manner in which they've beaten some of the teams they've beaten this year, like they were rightfully so. I know they weren't ranked number one in the AP poll; they were ranked number two, which was kind of a motivating factor for that team. And they had been talking about it on some of the broadcasts that they felt like they deserved to be number one. And like with the wins Arizona has gotten, obviously, like you can't argue with Arizona being ranked number one either. And they've been a dominant team as well. But yeah, like Michigan had just been on such a roll that like they were. I think going into Saturday they were plus 250 to win the national championship, which in college basketball is fucking insane at this point in the year for a team to be plus 250 to win a national championship in January is absurd. Like I'm like probably haven't seen anything like that since Gonzaga in 2020 or 2021. I mean, the undefeated team. Like that's probably the last time we saw like that big of a national championship favorite at any point in the regular season. I imagine going into that game Saturday, and yeah, that was absurd. And I don't like you said. I mean, you're basically implying like you think like maybe Michigan was a little overhyped going into this game. Um, but like you can't argue with what they did on what they had been doing on the floor and just like mowing some of these teams down. Um, but yeah, you mentioned that they didn't look their best in that Penn State game, and we remember last month Maryland gave them a run a little bit too, and even before like they really got this streak going, like we remember they had a couple close ones. At the start of the year with Wake Forest and TCU. Um, but yeah, when they hit their stride, it was just like it was a question of like who's going to make this team bleed, and nobody to this point had been able to do that. And I certainly don't think the way Wisconsin had been playing going into this game, like any of us saw Wisconsin uh, being the team with the ability to make that happen. But yeah, you got to tip your hat to Greg Gard and Bucky because it was not looking good for them for their outlook this season for making the tournament. And if they were going to make anything happen, like that's the kind of win that just can completely save your season and turn it on its head that they got Saturday. And that's what makes the sport great, man. Is you got to bring your best, like especially in conference play and in the Big Ten. Which the Big Ten and Big 12 are the best leagues in the sport this season. It's like you can't take anything for granted, man. Like you got to bring your A game every night, and it doesn't matter who you are. If you don't bring that A game, like you're running the risk of getting beaten. That's what Michigan ran into here.
I,
Like you said, like I didn't really like, and I know Yaxel was in foul trouble here. Like he played 30 minutes, but like they probably would have liked to have him on the floor more. Like I didn't really understand uh how Michigan was using Yaxel in this game. Like I don't that's been one of my knocks on Michigan, like when you watch them play so far this year, is that like Yaxel when he's on the floor, he's the best player on the floor. And it's like I don't think they run enough it's almost like they don't run enough ISO with him. Like he's your best player. Like he's the best player on the floor. He's him or Braden Smith are the best players in the Big Ten. Like put the ball in his hands and just like let him go. And like I would like to see him be more aggressive and just like like we seen with AJ DeBansta and Cam Boozer this year and um other wings, like I think of Keyshawn Hall with Auburn, like where he had 30 points Saturday, and it's like he's your best player. Like put the ball in his hands and go get a basket. And like you don't need when you have a guy like that on the floor, you don't always need to get so cute. And I don't feel like Yaxel. I don't know if it's scheming or just him not being aggressive enough, but I kind of feel like go ahead.
I was gonna say I feel like Michigan they play better as like a cohesive unit. Like Yaxel isn't really like a plus scorer. He's not someone that's just gonna freaking dominate a game. He's someone that gets into the rhythm of a game and just makes shots. Like he's not. I'm trying to think of a comparison. Like he's not like a Cam Boozer or someone like that. That's like gonna be insane lottery pick. AJ DeBansta. He's a great player.
Well, he's going to be a lottery pick.
Yeah. But he's more, make smart plays. He's kind of like TKR. I'd say him and TKR are equivalent. Once you feed them, they score. But they're not like.
I was looking at the box score. Like Elliot Cadeau only had 3 assists in this game. Too, and that's such a big part of their offense is like what he creates, and he's one of the best passers in the country. And obviously, like, I mean, they shot like they didn't shoot it horribly in this game. They shot 47%. Um, they were 8 of 25 from three, which like isn't it? But like, there's no like aberrations. Like when you look at the box score in this game, where you're like, other than the threes that Wisconsin was making, like obviously that made the difference. But like Michigan won the rebounding battle. Um, like they didn't turn the ball over a lot. The fouls were even on both sides. Yeah, like they just got straight up beat in this game. Like there's no like Wisconsin just shot it out of their minds, and like there's nothing you point to, and it's just like, oh, they turned the ball over a lot in this game. They got out rebounded. Like there's nothing like that. Like the shots were just falling for Wisconsin, and they just like
Mhm.
Wisconsin just played the best 40 minutes we've seen them play all year. Some obviously, I don't think either of us thought like this Badgers team, the way they looked, was capable of what they put out on the floor Saturday.
I mean, I just think like Wisconsin, they really press the paint. Having Nick Boyd is a really big thing for them. Like they just they keep pushing the tempo. Even when Purdue kind of was up on them by a lot, like almost 30 points at Wisconsin, like they came back. They have firepower. Just watching them, so like Michigan under Dusty May, like he's had his first 2 years have had great teams, but once a team just comes out and smacks them in the face, like they kind of like they just, at least on the defensive end, they've kind of struggled when a team just comes out um, and just kind of like rains, hits everything on them. They really don't adjust to that defensively. Um, I know I saw it last year when Michigan played at Mackey. It was kind of the same thing. Uh, just kind of blew them out down the stretch. So Michigan, they just got to focus on their defensive intensity.
Yeah, yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Obviously, the way Wisconsin was able to shoot it in this game. Yeah. But how much does this change your outlook on Wisconsin? Like, do you think this is just one great day for them, or like do you feel a lot better about the Badgers as a team now in the Big Ten?
Their tournament team, I don't think they're going to be like a Big Ten contender or anything, but I think they definitely have a shot to upset some teams and just make a push in like the Big Ten tournament, for example. I don't know where their their peak is, but I think they're a solid tournament team. But it's huge for them, like you said, getting a top 25 win. They had not won any game against a ranked team for like a while, I don't think. Or they hadn't won a like top 10 matchup in like 10 years or something, 7 or 8 years or something crazy like that.
We got Matt with us now. What's up, brother? Welcome back to the show. Nice shirt.
Yeah, same to you. Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about the Texans coming in. I'm quite concerned.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a playoff team. Offensively, they were pretty rough all over, and it doesn't look as if they'll have Nico Collins, so that'll help. But yeah, the pass rush is pretty terrifying, all things considered.
We were just kind of wrapping up Wisconsin, Michigan. Michigan stumbling for the first time this year, but did you have anything you were dying to add on that before we put a bow on it?
No, not particularly. I mean, Michigan's kind of been trending in that direction that they were going to drop one of these games coming up. I didn't think it would be Wisconsin at home, but yeah, they had the Penn State game where they were super shaky. Probably should have lost that game. And Wisconsin went to Chrysler Arena and pick up a big win. So, yeah, I mean, Michigan's still that good of a team. I just think defensively they're having some issues that they got to figure out here pretty soon when some of these better teams start rolling in than what they'll be seeing with Wisconsin and Penn State.
I know, just one more thing. You'd mentioned with Big Ten conference play starting, like, I think this just shows you can't sleep on any team in the Big Ten this year. Like, even the bottom of the conference, like, they're well coached teams. Like,
yeah, and Michigan has to add to that. Like, Michigan has to go do the Big Ten West Coast road trip now. Coming off of that game, so like you better get off the mat quickly because they go to Washington and to Oregon, and I mean those are both unranked teams, but we know it's really easy to see good teams stumble on those road trips.
And I know, like, Purdue this week, we played Washington and Penn State, and we dominated those games offensively, but they hit their shots. I give them props.
Yeah, Penn State kept it close with Purdue on Saturday.
They hit. It was insane. Like, they literally hit every single shot. Like, contested, it didn't matter what. Like, at the end of the shot clock, it was wild.
Yeah, even a team like Penn State, like you mentioned, like they're not an easy out. Like, especially if you got to go on the road and play them.
Yeah,
like
a team that did not qualify for Big Ten tournament play last year.
Michigan and Purdue both got games from Penn State this week.
Yeah, very surprising. So,
well, the next game I was going to bring up from Saturday, and like we'll bounce around between Saturday and go back through a couple of the big results through the week last week too. But Saturday, the Nebraska Corn Huskers remain undefeated. Or I heard somebody say on a show I was listening to earlier, is Nebraska kind of getting the vibes, or are they the Indiana of college basketball this year?
Oh my gosh!
Like, I mean, program that's never won anything, like, you know, consistent loser for forever, and man, they're just like the down 16 on the road in Assembly Hall. Kind of felt for a second like, oh, this might be where the magic ends, and nope, they turn it on, and they got the job done. And Fred Hoiberg's Cornhuskers remain undefeated. Michigan obviously dropped from the ranks of the fact we have this many unbeaten teams remaining this late in the season is absurd, by the way. But the Huskers continue to fight and remain amongst the ranks of those unbeatens. Great. I mean, we talked about it at halftime on Saturday when they were down, and said I thought they were going to come back, and they did it. And now, like, upcoming schedule for Nebraska, they play Oregon at home, they go to Northwestern, they have Washington at home, and they go to Minnesota. And like you presume, obviously anything can happen, as we mentioned, but like they take care of business in those 4 games, and that would set up for a huge showdown at Michigan in the Chrysler Center on January 27th. And both Michigan and Nebraska have 4 upcoming games against unranked teams. So we might be setting up for a massive game in the Big Ten when those 2 teams squared off. But Nebraska gets it done in Assembly Hall, 83-77. Whoever wants to go first on that one.
I mean, I think this is just the case. Nebraska, they got down. They're the more complete team than Indiana right now. Indiana, I feel like it's the Lamar Wilkerson show this year. Tucker DeVries is okay. He is disappointed, to be honest.
And Wilkerson was awesome on Saturday.
Just on another level. Like, it's him and everybody else on Indiana at this point in the season, at least till Indiana starts playing more cohesively as a team. He's going to have to carry them down the stretch here. But like Nebraska, they just play so well as a team. They are never out of games, even when stuff looks rough. So they are going to be a tough out the rest of the season. So just kind of, I didn't get to watch the end of it, but I saw they came. Like I watched some of the end of the game, but like just what an impressive run they've had to start this year.
They better, if they don't have an extension on Fred Hoiberg's desk yet, they better have it there, because whatever the first big job that comes open, and whatever big jobs come open, if they don't go ahead and get an extension done, I imagine Fred Hoiberg's agent's phone is going to be ringing off the hook coming up here soon.
I mean, at least he won't be getting offers from the NBA anytime soon.
Yeah.
No, Nebraska's it's a good story. I think it's moved beyond good story phase. They're actually a really good team. I don't know the ceiling of their team, and when we talk about them being a tough out, like being a tough out for who kind of thing. Like I don't think that Nebraska would be a particularly tough out for Iowa State tomorrow if they played. I don't think Nebraska would be a very tough out for Arizona.
January 27th at Michigan, like we're going to find out how tough and out they are.
Yes. So I think that
But they beat Michigan State.
Yes, that is true. They beat Michigan State at home. That was a horrible basketball game to watch. Nebraska I don't know if they have the scoring capability to keep up with some of the best teams in the country. So I don't put them in the that kind of Arizona, UConn, Iowa State, Michigan tier. And I would probably not put them in that kind of Duke tier of team either. They're probably in that third rung. If they got the right matchup in an NCAA tournament setting, maybe they could go relatively far, but I wouldn't be shocked to see them eliminated in the first weekend either, just based on, the strengths of that team, the weaknesses of that team. They're not overly athletic. And they can be a bit stagnant offensively at times. But, it's definitely they're headed upward for sure. They're trending up. They play good basketball to this point. For Indiana, they've hit on some of these guys. Tatum Conaway is really good. The point guard they got in the portal. He went to Troy, I think, last year, and he was a really strong player. And he's carried that over to Indiana now. And Tucker is not, it's a big jump, obviously, from, Missouri Valley basketball to Big Ten basketball. But yeah, that team just is lacking in a lot of areas. Offensively, they run some great stuff. Indiana runs some awesome actions, but defensively is not, they don't have the just ability to win games on defense, and they don't rebound great. And it's just they're probably another year away from being a really complete contender in the conference. But I think you make the Nebraska-Indiana parallel. I do not think Nebraska is anywhere near. I don't think Nebraska is a national championship contender the same kind of way that Indiana is. I don't think Nebraska is a Final Four contender.
It did make. I thought of a question though. We got two huge surprise unbeatens. Who is a more real Final Four contender, Vanderbilt or Nebraska?
No, I thought you were going to say Miami, Ohio. Yeah, shout out to the Red Hawks. I think Vandy, because they are just capable of putting up 100 on anyone, and I think they're probably better coached right now than Indiana is, Nebraska. And I would probably put Vanderbilt up there. Vanderbilt has legit scorers who can go out and get a bucket on their own when a play breaks down, and Nebraska just doesn't have that. I would say Vanderbilt has a much higher ceiling than Nebraska does.
Jacob?
I know. I feel like they're a Sweet 16 team. They'll make the Sweet 16.
You talking about Vanderbilt or Nebraska?
Nebraska.
Okay.
We haven't gotten into Vanderbilt yet, but talking about
who do you think's a more realistic, real Final Four contender, Nebraska or Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt, because of their insane offense. Nebraska just doesn't have that top end scorer. They kind of just play well as a unit, well cohesively as a unit, and it's kind of like one guy does good one night and then another guy does good the next night, sort of deal with Nebraska. I feel like Vanderbilt's a deeper team, 100%.
But yeah, great win for the Huskers on Saturday, and they remain unbeaten. And honestly, I would say to this point, like probably the best story in college basketball right now has to be Nebraska and what they've done so far. At least it's been my favorite story. I mean, if you look at now, like they have a chance to, like they're probably going to have the best record in program history and have a real chance to finally get their first ever NCAA tournament win. Like I remember me and Jacob talked about a month or so ago. Like, are they good enough to get that first tournament win in program history this year? Do you think? Like, that's a resounding yes at this point. I think for everybody, with how they're shaping up to land come tournament time. Like, you imagine the way they're trending, like they're going to be a top 4 seed if they continue to play this way, and should have the golden ticket at least. That first matchup to get that first program or first tournament win in program history. So things are looking up for the Cornhuskers, and Pinnacle Bank Arena. It's going to be off the chain. Whoever comes in there the rest of the season. We did talk about Vanderbilt. So why don't we go back in the week and talk about Vanderbilt 96, Alabama 90. First of 2 losses Alabama took this week, which was awesome. The AP voters didn't seem to mind it too much. They got a little slap on the wrist for losing 2 games this week. But yeah, Tyler Tanner plays out of his mind, drops 29. The Commodores defend home court, get the win over Alabama and Nashville. I guess this was it's so funny to think about because I mean we're talking about Vanderbilt, Nebraska, and these surprise teams, and it's like we made the Indiana football parallel where people are like up until they beat Alabama really is like what it's like, oh, is Indiana for real now? Like it's like people just never want to like buy into these surprise teams that they're actually as good as they look, and everybody was just kind of like, oh, Vanderbilt, like that's cute. And then seems like they needed this win over Alabama for people to really start taking them serious. But if you're not taking them serious now, you better start doing it because we've asked a couple times on here who's the best team in the SEC, and I think that would have to far and away be the Vanderbilt Commodores at this point because all these other SEC teams have now had games where they look bad and taken losses, and other than Vanderbilt, they stand away from the pack and they got it done. And then they beat LSU yesterday, but the big win this week was when they beat Alabama on Wednesday. And yeah, Tyler Tanner was awesome in this game. He puts up 29. And yeah, they're able to run and gun and take care of business against the Tide. So whoever wants to talk about Vanderbilt and Alabama first, the floor is yours.
I think it's crazy to me. Like, I don't think anybody coming into this year had Vanderbilt and Texas A&M being tied in first place in the SEC to start the year. But yeah,
Texas A&M shouldn't be. We'll get to them.
Just kind of a Vanderbilt just kind of has come out, beat Alabama at their own game. As usual, Alabama's in a shootout, 96-90 game. No defense, just all offense on the gas. And all their starters had double-digit points. Just kind of played a consistent offensive game, and they've shown that they are for real in the SEC after that Alabama win. And we will see coming up if they can hold on to that belt in the SEC. I didn't get to watch much of this game on Wednesday, but what a good win for Vanderbilt.
Yeah, it's a huge for that program and what they're building there. And mostly, you asked, is Vanderbilt's probably far and away the best team in the SEC. Today, they might be. I think that conversation, I think the answer is going to change week to week, honestly. I think, just Florida just decimating Tennessee. They seem to be rounding into form in certain areas. But, yeah, right now for Vandy, they are offensively one of the best teams in the country in every way. They can shoot. They pass at a really high level. They get a ton of assists. They hit the offensive glass hard. They just are a complete team offensively in ways that you can't really say about a lot of other teams. The same way that you can for Bama, for example. There are more facets of the kind of Vanderbilt attack that you need to worry about than the Bama attack. And in terms of Bama's week, what a week that they've had. It's they had the Kentucky game where they kind of humiliated Mark Pope and that program, and they're having these guys are kind of pathetic, calling them out in the press and everything, and how bad they are offensively and how they defend. And then Bama kind of gets it shoved up their ass this week. So they get it taken to them by Vanderbilt and Nate
and
Oates
by Texas.
And Nate Oates is wondering why is Phylon barely playing? Why is he cramping up? Things are not great there right now. I think that they're still a team that will probably be in the conference mix by the end of the season, but definitely a really weird start for them to conference play. But to answer your question, Vanderbilt today is the best team in the SEC. A week from now, 2 weeks from now, I don't know if that'll be the case. But today they're definitely comfortable at the top and pretty secure in the driver's seat for the conference. But I think that'll change in the future.
It's just tough. Who else in the SEC do you trust to this point that is going to step up and challenge Vanderbilt? Because we just saw Arkansas was the team I had in mind, and we just saw Auburn absolutely take it to Arkansas on Saturday. As an Auburn fan, I did not see that coming at all. Where Auburn was able to get inside on Arkansas and just get anything they wanted in the paint, which is not a thing Auburn's been able to do to this point this season. And they just absolutely took it to Arkansas on Saturday. And then we've seen Florida be wobbly, and they kicked Tennessee's ass on Saturday. We've seen Tennessee be wobbly. It's who do you trust?
I would trust Florida the most to challenge, just because they have enough guys back from that team last year. Front court wise, they're the most stable, the most solid. They just have to get more consistent play to the guards. I think that just factoring in the coach and the talent they have, that's who I would probably today say has the best shot. Arkansas's probably got the most upside and room to grow, but as you said before, just defensively they got taken apart by Auburn. So it's no guarantee necessarily that one of those teams will kind of come out of nowhere not come out of nowhere, but be a challenger to Vanderbilt. I don't see it being A&M as that kind of team, but I would still kind of today put my money on Florida to be the team that challenges them, or Arkansas. But again, Florida can't beat Missouri apparently either this year or last year, and Auburn took Arkansas apart or to the woodshed, as Drew says. So, that was a woodshed game.
The woodshed showed up.
Yes, that was a woodshed game. So, Yeah, those are the two teams I would have in mind. But yeah, it's still up in the air for the SEC. Like it's still kind of up for grabs. Um, Vanderbilt's been the earliest to hit their stride, but we'll see what happens.
Vanderbilt's been like unreal at this point. Like we mentioned, like we got two undefeated teams, Vanderbilt and Nebraska, that nobody really saw coming. Thank you. That nobody really saw coming going into this season, and yeah, they're both dominant. So good win for the Doors, and they were able to follow it up with a win against LSU on Saturday. So they look like they're in good shape.
I think before we see the SEC conversation, I think it came out today that Jalen Lowe is out for the season.
Did it? Okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
Jalen Lowe.
So with him out and
Quaintance didn't play on Saturday.
I don't know what his deal is. So I don't know what the situation. And Mark Pope had another weird quote where he was just like, "Yeah, I've just woken up some days wanting to kill myself," kind of thing. And it's like, what? Like, I kind of feel bad for him. Like, he sounds miserable. Like, he truly sounds like he was like, yeah, there's just some days I'd wake up and I'm like just absolutely miserable. I feel bad for Mark Pope now. So, like, I don't know what's going to happen to him. He'll have the hottest seat in the country if that team doesn't make the tournament. But yeah, I just kind of was, this was a team that people had contending for the conference title before the season, and seems to have really gotten away from him now, and certainly have gotten away from the coach. So, yeah, Mark Pope seems like a good guy, but I kind of like feel bad for him. And like I had it up before, but like, the Kentucky fan, it was I forget who it was there, but they were talking about like, yeah, my team can't like get our coach fired. And meanwhile, like Kentucky fans have like photoshopped like Mark Pope into a Nazi uniform and everything. They're like they're really the heat is kind of turning up there. So I don't know what's gonna happen there if they're kind of gonna be.
Well, they just got a dominant win on Saturday.
They did. So I don't know what to expect. They're the like kind of biggest wild card in the conference still because of the talent they have, but like between Nate Oates, like really dumping on, that whole program. And now I don't know if you saw, but most of the Kentucky fans are trying to like Bruce Pearl is their number one to get out of retirement to take the Kentucky job. So they're like, yep, we're going to get Bruce Pearl. He's going to be our next coach.
Yeah, he's going to coach against his son.
Yes. So
yeah, sure, that'll happen.
So the Kentucky fans are starting up the Bruce Pearl rumors. So, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I did not see the Lowe news, and like, I know Jalen Lowe started and played 3 minutes on Saturday, and that was it. And like the way they had talked about his injury situation was like he basically couldn't even practice because like they're like, if this guy gets bumped like one wrong way, like it's all over. And like we know he had to check out of the St. John's game because of injury, and it had been like an up and down thing with him all year. And that's where like for all the criticism Pope is getting, I just like at the end of the day, it's like to me this just comes down to health. And Lowe and Quaintance were supposed to be two of their best three players. Like Quaintance is going to be a lottery pick. And they haven't had either of those guys most of the season. And they certainly haven't had either of them healthy. Like I thought they were like, I don't know what, like I thought they were getting Quaintance ramped up and like he was back and like he was going to be a factor for this Kentucky team, and then he didn't play Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like a Darren Peterson situation they're running into with him, where he just decides like he's coming out of the game or something. Like I don't know the situation, but he's getting paid. Like I don't know where his NIL stacks up. Like, but he's got to be one of the highest paid players in the country.
Yeah. I guess we can mention Kentucky 92, Mississippi State 68. Did seem like Kentucky had things corrected a little bit, but yeah, I did not see Mark Pope's suicidal comments
Yeah,
that
it
you
was weird.
alluded to today. But anything on that Kentucky Mississippi State game? Or?
I mean, just a big win for Kentucky with where they are in their season to at least help them get some momentum, to make sure, because they're kind of falling into that borderline tournament team territory.
Borderline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're 10-6, 1-2 in the SEC right now. I guess their best win to this point in the season is I don't know.
I checked.
I'd have to check
earlier.
the bracketology to see if they're in the field.
They had them as a 10 seed currently.
Yeah. Do you guys think Kentucky makes the tournament?
I mean, if they keep losing like they have, they will not make the tournament.
It's not a
great analysis, Jacob.
Yeah.
If they don't win, they're not gonna make it.
It's not a particularly really good bubble, so that might benefit them. But at the same time, no, I would say they don't. They would have to take a just dramatic step forward in just their identity, and shooting is still just a huge issue for them.
Can we talk real quick? We don't have to get too much into the game, but the outrageous fucking Auburn Texas A&M debacle to end that game. I mean, holy fuck! We got robbed of a victory, and that's shouldn't have blown a 16-point lead at home and even been in that situation. But what the hell was that?
So the number one question that I have now, I actually have this for both of you because you both now have a really unique relationship, I'm sure, with Bucky. So I'm which one of you hates Bucky more? Because I can't I don't know which one of you hates Bucky the most here. I have.
Did you see his autistic interview after the game? Where he's like, I can't hear you guys.
Yeah.
And then he was
I can't hear a word you're saying.
He was like, they can boo all they want, but they messed the clock up anyway. It was after the game.
Nothing less from him.
Him running on the I'm finally starting to understand some of Jacob's disdain for Bucky, because I wasn't watching Samford basketball that close when Bucky was in the SoCon as Jacob was. But then when I was watching this game, I sent you guys the video where there was an inbounds play late in the game for Auburn, and Bucky was basically guarding the inbound. I was like, what is this guy doing?
I think it was last year or the year before. I was watching the game before ETSU with Samford. Bucky McMillan was on the court 75% of the game. I shit you not. He was on the court. And never
got a good basketball coach, though. I mean, he's
a hell of a coach.
There. Yeah,
dude, we got Bucky balled in that game. We were up 16, and they went on an 11-0 run in 28 seconds, and it was gone. It was literally
he has the same energy as Eric Musselman.
It was literally they stole an inbound 3. Stole an inbound and 1. Stole another inbound 3. And I was just we went down, and I don't know what offensive game plan was. You give up a run like that, then we finally get the ball in and get down the court and just chuck up a 3 immediately. They go down and hit another, and I'm like, oh my god, there goes the lead right there. It was a 16-point lead. It was gone like that. We got Bucky balled to the max extent.
Yeah,
I don't know if PJ Haggerty had an agent guiding him through the whole recruitment NIL process here for when he was in the portal, but how did he would he should be playing at A&M over Kansas State. That guy would get 25 shots a game if he played there. But
Bucky McMillan's style, when they're on, they're on. You could play a perfect game against them and still lose.
Yeah, but so the debacle at the end of the game, Auburn has 0.6 of a second left. We're down 2. Get the ball in. Keyshawn Murphy chucks a three from damn near half court. Goes. Insane shot. Like, they call it good on the floor. Auburn wins. Like, they're celebrating. They showed the replay, like, celebration. They review this thing for like 5 minutes. And how there weren't any better clear camera angles than what there were was insane, because like everything was like from like 100 feet away. It looked like that they were showing, but like you could not see if the like it was way too blurry to see like if this ball was out of his hand or not when you saw the red light going off on the basket. Like there was just nothing like clear and concise there to overturn this. And sure enough, like they call the basket off. I mean, Stephen Pearl lost his fucking mind. Like he was like on the floor,
Steve
like
Pearl
with
had
it,
the phone,
like
in
yeah,
hand.
yeah. He was like on the phone with the SEC office, like on the court, like as soon as they made the call. He followed up. He had a press conference on Friday, and he said the SEC office called him and said they had clear evidence to overturn the call. And like I feel like this is the same discussion like we talk about with football and the officiating, and which unfortunately happened to be Auburn again when we were talking about the Oklahoma game and the Georgia game, where it's like the lack of transparency is just infuriating. Because like why why can the SEC not just tweet off their official account, "Hey, here's the photo we used to overturn this call. If you have clear evidence, show us." Just be like, can we get an ounce of transparency for like, because I just like, I for the life of me, like almost a week after the game, I don't understand how they came to the conclusion they did to overturn that call.
They botched the call 100%. Like, I mean, the explanation was that it took a set like 7 seconds to get the ball off, but the shot clock did not start as soon as he just touched the ball, and that's why it wasn't good. Like, it didn't. The clock had not, or the horn had not gone off yet. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Like, how do you not go with whatever the call on the floor is in that situation?
Yeah,
If they
just
call it
yeah,
off,
go
or
it
if they
and
call
say,
it a bucket.
yeah,
That's what it should be. And like clearly, by most accounts, it did not seem as if there was a conclusive angle where you could, beyond a shadow of a doubt, say like, yeah,
yeah.
he didn't get that off there.
If it was
I love
still
the
in his
Alabama
hand,
fans who are who are tweeting like a blurry hand and like a blurry basketball. I'm like, you can clearly see that it's still on his fingertips. I was like, what? Nothing about this is clear. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you
Like,
just got to go with the call on the floor in that situation. Just go with the call on the floor and be done. And that's the easiest thing. Like, it's not going to be disputed. Just, yeah, should have just gone with the call on the floor there. So I understand if they do have conclusive evidence where they're like, yeah, we actually found here, like, it didn't quite get off in time, then that's fine. But I don't know how that's like, it just makes very little sense that they wouldn't be like, oh yeah, well this will stop some of your bitching. Like here, we'll show you. Like,
right.
and yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I don't understand that. Should have just gone with call on the floor and been done with it. But or if they had conclusive evidence, as you said, just
Show us.
Yeah, like not a big deal.
Yeah, that was a debacle. Luckily, Auburn's able to bounce back, get a big win over Arkansas Saturday. Yeah, needed that. Auburn, like Keyshawn Hall was unreal in this game, 30 points. Auburn was just dominant on the glass, got in the paint, got anything they wanted in this game. Yeah, Auburn had this thing pretty much wire to wire in the bag. Like it was a dominant performance. Matt, as like, I'm happy. As Matt, as our resident Cal guy, I don't know, like, with the Cal, with the pulse of Cal Nation and Hog Nation is coming out of this one. If you got anything you wanted to add on it, but yeah, that was ass whooping
It
that Auburn
was
badly
nothing
needed.
short of an ass whooping. Yeah, it was. Yeah, they got crushed. Just humiliated. I think they seriously underestimated the atmosphere. Defensively, they were not up for the game. So, obviously, it's one of the younger teams in the country, and I think, just the atmosphere, the environment, they just were not up for it. And credit to Auburn. They really, really beat the shit out of them there. And I think in some ways, like it's obviously exactly what Auburn needed. In some ways, that might be what Arkansas needs to kind of refocus them. Defensively, they were like incomprehensibly bad. Cal called him out after the game, pretty good. Made his thoughts abundantly clear. But I think that's all there is to it, really. There, just Auburn was getting everything they wanted out of that game, getting some really easy shots, and Arkansas did not put up much resistance. So, credit to Auburn. Really a big win for them, and they just took them apart.
All I gotta say is Nepo baby Stephen Pearl, who didn't deserve his job or whatever people want to say, now has, in his first year as a head coach, wins over Rick Pitino, John Calipari, and Dana Altman, 3 coaches who have been to Final Fours. So do what you want with that information, but to me, quite the impressive, and a 1-point loss to Kelvin Sampson. So make that 4 coaches who have been to Final Fours. So to me, quite the impressive resume for a first-year coach who was given the job weeks before the season started, and responds by having 3 wins over Hall of Fame, maybe not Hall of Fame, but Final Four coaches, elite coaches. 16 games into his coaching career. So, yeah, pretty impressive stuff, if you ask me. I think Steven's doing a great job in year 1, and excited to see what this team, how high they can elevate. But this is one they needed bad to not let things spiral too much getting into SEC play. Next game I have from the week to hit on real quick. It's almost a week ago, so we don't have to dive too much into it. But Duke went to Louisville and got a 84-73 win. Louisville really just had a lid on the basket in the second half. They could not make anything. This is a team that needs Mikel Brown Jr. back desperately, because they have shown at this point clearly. We've seen starting ACC play, they are not the same team without him at all. Cam Boozer was incredible as it played 39 minutes in this game. Had 27, 8, and 4. He was 10 of 12 from the field, knocked down a few 3-pointers. He's still got to be the favorite for National Player of the Year. Louisville just Conwell couldn't miss in the first half and then couldn't make anything like that. There was just a complete lid on the basket in the second half. Duke takes care of business here. You guys got anything on that one?
Yeah, I mean, Louisville just looks like a different team without Mikel Brown Jr. Duke just kind of coasted in that one with their talent,
Yeah, I mean, they weren't initially. It started really well for Louisville in the first half of that. They went into that with a halftime lead. It was looking relatively promising for them. And Duke has played pretty well over the years against Louisville, and at Louisville, especially going back to when Pitino was the coach. They had some huge road wins there over the years. And that's just kind of the final hurdle here for Louisville in ACC play. Second half, Duke defended a lot better, and they just kind of simplified the game. It was for them, it was about more players than plays, and their talent won out in the second half. And as you said, Mikel Brown's just a huge difference maker that they are lacking. It's seriously to the same effect almost as if Cam Boozer couldn't play for Duke. It's that kind of significant of a role that he plays in that offense. Louisville needs him back badly. And I would say, the ceiling is still pretty high for them. It's a big win for Duke because it was not looking as if they were going to win that game in the first half.
They take care of business here, and then we can also follow up with Duke's win over SMU on Saturday at home. SMU played a hell of a game, and more like not a ton to get into from this game, other than the fact like I just wanted to say like Andy Enfield set off maybe the craziest coaching carousel in the history of the sport a couple years ago, leaving USC to take the SMU job, and it was a move. Like I said, it triggered that carousel, but it wasn't a move that a lot of people paid much mind to at the time, and but it is bearing fruit for SMU now because like they played their asses off in this game, and they got a win over North Carolina last week, and really positioning themselves to be a solid tournament team this year. And they gave Duke everything they could handle at Cameron on Saturday. So credit to Andy Enfield and SMU, but yeah, he's really getting things going there. Getting things going there and getting that program on the right track, and they should solidly be a tournament team this year at this point, the way they look.
Yeah, I mean, SMU is a good basketball team. Like they will be a solid tournament team. After last year being on the bubble, they are going to have to win a couple big games here to prove themselves in the ACC. I mean, they already have one over UNC last Saturday, of course. Yeah, last Saturday, the 3rd. But yeah, just a good. Andy Enfield's building something there at SMU. So, and they gave Duke a game. So, not much more you can ask there.
Yeah, SMU's been a sleeping giant kind of in college basketball for a while. It was always kind of one of those, if they got the right coach in there, it could be a really good team. And they've had some really good teams over the years. They were 6th seed in NCAA tournament play, ironically lost against USC to Andy Enfield's team when Shemi Ojale was a senior on that team. They've had some decent like portal pickups over the years, recruiting wins over the years. They got Emmanuel Mudiay. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those where they just have the right guys in place now for the program to go forward with Enfield. It seems as if that's a good fit for him. I don't know if it's USC or I don't know if it's the coaches, but USC is just kind of a tough place to win right now. Muss is doing better than Andy Enfield was, but yeah, I mean they have just a good solid team right now. They're going to be a really tough like 7, 8, or 9 seed for someone in NCAA tournament play to deal with. Guards are strong. They do not make many mistakes, and because of that, they dragged Duke into a game with them, and
that was boopy-less.
Yeah, yeah, and they've already beaten UNC, and yeah, that's a program that's kind of on the rise, I would say, and they have facilities are strong there. They should be ACC kind of contending upper echelon team for years to come here, but yeah, they're strong. That's a game that Duke probably wins by 10 or 15 anywhere else, but it's a good showing for SMU, and that's just not a game like all the Duke fans I know and everything. That's not a game that they ever felt as if they were going to lose. They didn't really feel threatened that it was ever going to happen, but SMU, another ACC team to be reckoned with, and the ACC needs those teams because the conference is not what it used to be. So hopefully, with teams like SMU and Miami improving, they'll kind of get back to where they were before.
You got anything on that one, Jacob?
Not much more.
Gotcha. We don't. It's late. So we'll kind of start just like rolling through some of these results and some of these games and jump in when anybody has, anything to add. But we'll go back a week to Tuesday last week, Minnesota took down Iowa at home, 70-67. We had a top 15 matchup with Houston and Texas Tech, and Houston prevailed 69-65 in that one. And
Defensive matchup to the
yeah,
core.
Yeah, that was tough. Texas Tech plays. They really play well at Houston. Last year, they won at Houston in overtime. JT Toppin got ejected early on, and they still won. So, yeah, that was a good basketball game.
felt a lot better watching Georgia go into Gainesville and get their shit handed to them by Florida. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm not going to have to really worry about Georgia this year. Like I was starting to get concerned, like maybe we would. But yeah, Mike White's doing a good job there. And then any of these other games for the week. Anybody? We got to talk UConn Providence. Can't forget that one. Man, what a comeback by the Huskies. It's all luck, according to Jacob. I did not see it that way, but Jacob described it as a lucky comeback. I thought Silas Demery just completely took this game over, and that's what did the job for UConn. But the Huskies go into Providence 103-98 in overtime, get the job done. Yeah, awesome game there. And that's a win Providence really, really needed. And they were not able to finish the job. But yeah, UConn, 4 guys over 20 in this one. Mullins, Caravan, Demery, and Terrace Reed were all 20 plus in this one. So, but yeah, Demery was just incredible down the stretch. Ends this thing with 23 and 15. UConn gets the job done. Matt, I'm sure you'd love to brag on your Huskies for a couple minutes. So you got the floor to do that if you would like. But yeah, incredible game there.
Yeah, it was a really fun game to watch. That's a huge rivalry for a variety of reasons. And Providence hit everything in the first half. They played really, really high-level basketball offensively. They could not miss. I expected them to miss further into the second half, and they did not. So they continued hitting all their shots. UConn defensively, the first half was not strong. Closeouts were just non-existent at times. And once they got things going in the second half, Demery kind of picked it up, kind of carried the team, as you said. Braylon Mullins, who they missed dearly in the first half of the season, has now kind of rounded into form. So yeah, that was a huge win for them. That was one where they were down late into the second half of that game, still came back and found a way to send it to overtime and then turn one. And some of the actions that UConn ran in that game were incredible. So if you're a basketball sicko, those are a few. There are a few possessions. First possession in overtime. That one was awesome. There was another one they ran to Terrace Reed deep in the post, a Hornset that they were able to cash in on. And it's that's a big game for them every year. Tomorrow is going to be huge for them because they have struggled at Seton Hall for years now. So
Seton Hall ranked now.
Yes,
by the way.
ranked Seton Hall. They lost at Seton Hall last year when Seton Hall was awful. Then the year they won in 2024, one of their 2 losses on the season was at Seton Hall. So, that place will be going. And UConn's a 5.5-point favorite in that game, so should be good. And Dan Hurley seems to swear by Shaheen and his coaching. Again, don't know who Jacob hates more, Shaheen or Bucky. Not really sure between the two. But yeah.
Bucky by far.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's more annoying, just a more annoying personality. Shaheen, I don't really hate. If anything, I hate Doug Eater.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Yeah,
Matt, you
that
talk
was
like you're not also a victim of that same St. Peter's team.
I fucking hate him. But yeah,
Oscar Sheboy with like 40 and
Yeah.
20 in St.
what
Peter's
are we
beat him.
doing? Yeah, it's horrible.
Maybe Cal's worst coaching job of all time, losing
Yeah,
that
I think
game.
that was the worst of them all, worse than the Oakland game and everything. But yeah, nonetheless, big win for UConn. Big win, big one tomorrow. And yeah, so that's a game they should win at Providence. They're much better than Providence. They should win that game. It's just the fact that it's at Providence. It's one of Providence, kind of their Super Bowl. So they're getting their best shot, but that's a game that they should still win. And defensively, they were not good, so they're going to have to clean that up.
Obviously 2 wins this week, by the way. Jacob, we alluded to it earlier, but would you like your minute to talk about how awesome Braden Smith has been and him creeping back into the National Player of the Year picture?
Like that performance on Saturday, like solidly put him back in that National Player of the Year talk, you know, because like he was just doing some insane stuff, like with the ball, you know, scoring. He just took over the first half of that game. Like the rest of Purdue was kind of sleepwalking for a bit. He just pulled up from anywhere and was making shots. And in the second half, he just kind of turned on his playmaking ability, was lobbing to Oscar Clough. Oscar Clough also had a great game on Saturday. Wednesday, we kind of sleptwalk as a team, got up by a lot on Washington, and just kind of took our foot off the gas. But Braden Smith still had a great game. He had about, on Wednesday, he had, let's look at his stat line on Wednesday. It wasn't as impressive as Saturday. 23, 7 assists and 3 steals. So lots of scoring from him in both games this week. But yeah. And then on Saturday, he had that impressive season high of 14 assists. And he is inching ever so close to that all-time assist record that we talked about at the beginning of the show. Of course, he's smashed by the Big Ten all-time assist last week at Wisconsin. And he's about 20 assists away from getting into he's currently 15th all-time. But, yeah.
Sorry, I'm grimacing. There's a headline on the Sports Center I'm watching. Packers will try to keep Matt LaFleur as head coach. Don't you decide whether he's the coach of the team?
We'll try.
Yeah, okay. So I guess on the Braden Smith front, I don't know if I still think Kim Boozer's probably like comfortably ahead in the National Player of the Year race here, but for Big Ten Player of the Year, I would say it's like him, Yaxel, or Morris Johnson from Michigan.
I think it's
Chad Baker Mazzara. I'm not even kidding. Like, he has to be in the discussion. He's been awesome.
Yeah. So curious to see how that'll go, because that one I think will be closer than the National Player of the Year race.
What about the Nebraska guys with Mask and Sanford? Can those guys get in the mix there?
I think they'd have to win the conference 3-year season in order to get consideration into that. At the end of the day, it's still like, who's the best player here? Like, if you put Braden Smith on Nebraska, he's the best player on that team by a considerable margin. So I don't know. And like, that doesn't account for like Bennett starts like at Iowa, some of those Illinois guys. I still think Nebraska is like probably not that level yet, but we'll see.
Sturt's kind of got neutralized on Sunday.
Yeah.
Against Illinois.
He had a great game against UCLA, and then he's kind of struggled his last couple here. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Braden Smith's been awesome. Like I said, I saw earlier, and somebody's doing the math. Like, he's on pace to now break Bobby Hurley's record during the Big Ten tournament, the way things are playing out. So,
What I love,
If he keeps it up, he should be a solid bet to break that record. Seems like it's going to happen.
one thing I love about Braden Smith is he just kind of sees the passing lanes before they happen. Like he just intercepts passes all game. Like he's just there. Like he's there and he sees immediately when a player comes off someone, like he's immediately has the ball, like just knows those passing lanes, and how to set up the offense. Like he sets it up as he's he's a floor general. Like I think I was listening to, it may have been his podcast, uh, but Painter like came and took a look at him, like got him, like someone told it or someone reached out to Painter and was like, this kid is the one of the smartest players I've ever seen on the court.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been awesome. And like we mentioned earlier this year too, like curious to see like, where his NBA stock goes at this point, because like we know there's not a huge market for small guards in the NBA and obviously in the modern NBA, but like somebody who sees the floor like Braden Smith and like with his ability, like that's an NBA player to me. Like, is he an NBA star? Probably not, but like there's plenty of NBA teams that could use that ability off the bench that he has, and obviously he's going to have the all-time record to his name probably for assists. So, yeah, dude's just been incredible.
I think I could see him as like a Peyton Pritchard type, like a better Peyton Pritchard that's a better passer, like just sort of that role. Like you see right now, he's projected late first, but I think he could go up 10 spots, maybe like mid to late first round.
Well, his thing is that he's going to have to show that he can defend at an NBA level. And most of his best work is done with the ball in his hands. He's going to need to show that he can be a valuable NBA player without the ball, because probably whatever team he goes, he's not going to have the ball for 50% of the game. So, yeah, just shooting and defense. I'm sure that's like he's just going to have to be a 3-and-D guy in the NBA, which I'm sure he can do if he shows those things.
Well, we can roll through some of these games Saturday. It's late, so we'll just start bouncing through some of these games. And if you guys want to give an extra note on any of them, feel free. But one of the big results of the day was Kansas dropped a game on the road at West Virginia. Always a tough place to play there, and the Mountaineers get a big win, 86-75. We mentioned this game earlier, but Tennessee went on the road to Florida and got blasted. So
yeah, before you continue, Kansas is a home dog against Iowa State, which that dog is kind of unheard of these days. But Iowa State's a buzzsaw.
Shit, it locked again. Can you?
And then Kansas earlier in the week was in a barn burner with TCU.
Yeah.
TCU kind of choked that game away.
Wild finish.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention that one. Good call. Yeah, that was a wild one. Kansas almost came all the way back enough to cover -6.5, which seemed dead, but they almost got it done. Yeah, let's see. Saturday, Houston went on the road, dominated Baylor. Sorry, Chief. Big win for the Cougs.
Stretch, yeah.
Let's see. Just going through, name off results that matter. We mentioned Purdue 93-85 over Penn State. St. John's went on the Creighton is bad. St. John's went on the road and decimated Creighton.
That'll still be UConn's still gonna struggle when they go there, but my gosh, yeah. What are we doing?
Another team that's bad is Marquette. Nova went on the road and got a road win there. closer than probably expected, but they got it done. What were you saying, Jacob?
I was going to mention a couple mid-major games. They were big.
Go ahead.
George Mason versus VCU. George Mason is 16-1. Got a big home win.
Yeah, they're playing Loyola on the road tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. So they got to keep winning. Just get their stocks as high as it can go. And then, of course, you have the Mercer and Wofford game that was insanely high score, 109.
Easiest overhit of all time, 157. Yeah.
That
cashed comfortably.
That game gave ETSU the number 1 spot in the SoCon for right now.
Other results Saturday. Arizona went on the road to TCU and dominated.
They were
no
only
issues there.
minus 7.5 in that game.
Yeah.
For some reason. So.
And some dummies took TCU.
Yeah. Tough one. Yeah.
Hand up, man. I was like, dude, it's like we've known this shit long enough. It's like ranked team on the like home dog in a conference game. Unranked home dog in a conference game versus a ranked team is almost like always automatic. You take that. As long as the team's not garbage. And so I thought TCU might be a live dog in that one, but Arizona won that one comfortably. Oklahoma State gave Iowa State a game for a little bit, but Iowa State gets it done 83-71. Yeah, that was a good watch. And then, go ahead.
A couple close ones. Texas Tech beat Colorado barely, just snuck by them. And then North Carolina snuck by Wake Forest 87-84. I don't know if we'd mentioned either of those ones.
You were mentioning big mid-major results, by the way. I just wanted to mention USF went on the road to Tulsa and got a pretty resounding win. Tulsa's been awesome this year, but USF was able to go in there and get a win. American's wide open right now because Memphis is garbage. They lost again yesterday.
Memphis is terrible.
Penny's probably done there. I like Penny. I'm sad to see that not work out, but he's probably done there.
Also, Miami of Ohio still unbeaten. 17.
Yep. Still 17-0.
Shout out to the Red Hawks.
Then also, Doug Gottlieb is turning around Green Bay.
He stops doing the radio show and they start winning games. Imagine that. Let's see. Any of these other ones? UCLA got back on track, got a win against Maryland. We mentioned Texas goes on the road and beats Alabama. Alabama's got a lot of problems. Sean Miller gets his first big win with the Longhorns. So, Sean Miller's still really good at this shit. And proved it on Saturday. Utah State, Boise is not good. Because they were home, I believe they were home favorites against Grand Canyon and Utah State and got blown out in both. Or Utah State might have been a small favorite, but I'm pretty sure they were favored over Grand Canyon. But either way, Boise gets smoked at home twice. And then I don't know if you guys stayed up to watch the Holy War on Saturday night, but Utah it was a great game. Utah basically triple teamed AJ DeBansta the whole game. And they were like, he is not going to beat us. And still gets 20 points after being triple teamed like the entire game. So, he's amazing. And then, and I'm running through these games. You guys got anything you wanted to add on any of them? And then Sunday, I guess the only real notable result was Illinois against Iowa. Iowa drops their second straight. The Illini get the win 75-69 there. Started giving them all this credit on here, and then they start losing games. That's how it goes.
they just don't have the offensive firepower to keep up with teams like Illinois.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Bennett Sturts is great, but just kind of don't have that Big Ten athleticism or shooting.
I started giving them all this credit about how Drake in the Big Ten is working, and then now Drake in the Big Ten is not working, and they've lost 2 in a row.
UCF snuck by Cincinnati. I think that's the last notable game.
Yeah. I was getting some Cincinnati fans popping up on my timeline, and they want Wes Miller hung in the street. Like,
he's on the hot seat firmly.
I didn't realize Cincinnati fans got down like that, but I was on Twitter. I was like, oh, getting Cincinnati Twitter on the For You page, and they are done with Wes Miller.
Yeah, they got the Sorsby buyout money.
Before Luke Fickell was at Cincinnati, I'd say they were more of a basketball school than football school.
They were.
I mean,
yeah.
So yeah, that about does it for the week and the weekend. I think like I said, it's late.
Mm-hmm.
We can get to wrapping this thing up. But you guys got anything else to add that we didn't hit on that you want to talk about before we jump out of here?
I think we're good.
Yeah. Yep. Coming up this week. Let me see. Can you unlock that, please? We'll preview this week. See what we got coming up. There was nothing today. Usually we get like 1 or 2 good games on a Monday. Nothing today.
It was literally just the Patriot League and SWAC playing.
We got Iowa at Purdue tomorrow.
That's Wednesday.
Oh, that's Wednesday. Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Tuesday, you got Michigan State, Indiana, Virginia, Louisville, Texas A&M, Tennessee, UConn, Seton Hall, West Virginia, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas, Florida, Oklahoma, Alabama, Mississippi State. Yeah.
Iowa goes to Purdue on Wednesday. Yeah. Auburn goes to Missouri. So see if we can keep it going. Let's see what else we got Wednesday.
TCU, BYU will be a good one late.
That'll be a good one. Yep. UNC goes on the ACC West Coast road trip. So at Stanford should win, but that's keep an eye on that one. You never know how those games are going to go. And we mentioned earlier, like Michigan going on the Big Ten road trip, West Coast road trip. They go out to Washington to play on Wednesday. And we also got Arizona State. So Utah or rivalry game. We'll see if Bobby Hurley can cook something up. I said Utah. Utah goes to Texas Tech on Wednesday. Yeah. Oh, and Vanderbilt goes on the road to Texas Wednesday as well. So that'll be a tough test to them. I'm sure there'll be a great environment in Austin coming off a big win on the road at Alabama. We'll see if they can keep it going against the Commodores. So, and then Thursday looks like scroll to the bottom, see if we have any West Coast games. Yeah, nothing much. Never sleep on those games though, man, because like I was watching Loyola Marymount and who were they playing?
The Big West and the West Coast Conference usually have good games. Like there's always some crazy game.
I watched I can't even remember who Loyola Marymount was playing Thursday night, but I watched Loyola Marymount get a win in double overtime. Those games, even when they don't seem like much, they are worth the watch. And then Friday, let's see what we got Friday. Nothing great. Baylor at Kansas, yeah. Yeah, not much though. So yeah, I guess try to get back at it Friday and preview or talk about the week. Look forward to Saturday and see what we got. But yeah, I don't have much else to add. Do you guys got anything?
Nope.
All good.
Yep, seems like it.
Pretty good.
Hey, go Patriots.
For sure.
I know we got that. Yeah, I am terrified of the Texans on Sunday, but I'm sure we'll be in touch about that. Patriots minus 1.5 is the line.
It opened at 3.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
I saw it. They had it earlier up before like the matchup was official. They had like the spreads for what it would have been for Patriots, Texans, and Patriots Steelers, and it was like minus 1.5 against the Texans and 5.5 against the Steelers. I was rooting for the Steelers tonight, but I was also happy to see Aaron Rodgers go out sad.
Yeah. Very.
Yeah, probably it for the old man. So yeah, we'll tentatively say we'll be back at it Friday. If not, I'm sure we'll be back. Well, you'll know when we're live. I'll tweet something out. We'll figure it out. We'll get these times straight. But glad to have you back, Matt. Your first post-Christmas appearance.
Yeah, I guess so.
So enjoy talking to you again. Jacob, as always, thank you. Great talking with you guys, and got 11 people watching us at after midnight or after 1 a.m. on the East Coast, after 12 my time. So thanks everybody who's tuning in live, and everybody who goes back listen. Thanks for tuning in. I forgot to upload the podcast on Spotify last week. I will remember to do that this week. For anybody who listens on there, apologies for forgetting to upload last week's episode, but make sure you follow Sectator Media on Twitter, subscribe to Sectator Media on YouTube, follow One Shining Recap on Twitter, and retweet, like, share, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's gonna get even better here because we're into the good stuff now, and had a lot to talk about tonight, and we'll have a lot to talk about going forward. No more of these sleepy non-conference episodes where we would have some episodes where we're like, what's the big games we're going to talk about here? Those days are done. It's all big games and big shows and a lot to talk about from here on out.
February is going to be insane. I was listening to a podcast earlier, like some of these matchups in February are going to be insane.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back at it.